My videos are for educational purposes and to bring truth to light. My station is not monetized, and I'm not trying to be monetized. So this is for educational purposes and to try to alleviate the ignorance that is dominating humanity. Now, the thing that I want to talk about and address now is this Gen Z thing, people putting down their ancestors and saying that they are not like their ancestors, as if their ancestors were cowards. Now, I'm a baby boomer, and one thing we did not do is put down the slaves who fought for our freedom. We didn't put them down. And as a baby boomer, to hear this Gen Z say that they are not like their parents and grandparents, like they're this great, I don't know who they think they are. And they said something, but they haven't accomplished anything, and they talk about this social consciousness. But to all that, I want to say this. Whether we are foundational African Americans or native African Americans means nothing if we're in the same boat and we're fighting the same enemy. Divisive conversations shows a lack of mental clarity needed to defeat racism, which relies on dividing those who should be working towards a common goal. Now, whether you are a Gen Z or you are a baby boomer, the fight is not between us. The battle against racism is not against each other. It is against those who are perpetrating racism against us. Now, it doesn't make any difference whether you live in Africa or whether you live in America or whether you live in Brazil. If you are being treated, if you are a victim of racism, the problem is not where you live or who you are. The problem is who is perpetrating a system of racial hatred against you. Those are our enemies. But when you start blaming your own parents for the situation you're in and they didn't cause it, how is that going to help? I'm not going to put down, one of my heroes is Booker T. Washington. And I admire him for what he did. And a lot of you Gen Zs, you don't even know who Booker T. Washington is. So how can you put him down? Understand this. I'm a baby boomer. And you are talking about you're not cowardly like your parents and grandparents. You are this tough person and all this crap. But guess what? Baby boomers, we ended Jim Crow. We obtained voting rights. And we gave Gen Z, we gave you your civil rights also. Your ability to talk, your ability to get on the internet and spew hatred towards your own people, we gave you the ability to do that. We gave you the ability to do that, and you are misusing what we have given you. We have made sure that you have freedom of speech, and then you use freedom of speech against your parents, your own progeny, your parents, your blood. That doesn't make any sense. And the reality of the situation is that you're being used. You're being used as a tool against your own. And it makes no sense. We're not supposed to be fighting each other. We're supposed to be fighting for freedom and the right. Freedom and civil rights. But you, Gen Z, you're losing it. You're losing it. Now, and such narratives do not solve the problem we face. Instead, divert attention away from the troublemakers and those who make problems for us. And trying to start a conversation, a narrative about whether we are African Americans or Native Americans is creating a problem that did not exist. You are creating a division, a problem that did not exist. You are directing energy away from where it should be going. We should be energizing, trying to be free of racism. Not battling about who did what black generation did this and what black generation did that. We are supposed to build up on what the prior generation has done. And putting the prior generation down does not build anything up. It is destructive. Understand this. You're making a mountain to climb that did not exist while black babies are being harvested. Police are deleting black men to be harvested, destroying the black family with feminism, when black women should be fighting for civil rights. Black women should never have been involved in feminism when they did not have civil rights. That made no sense. And I made a post about that, and YouTube called it hate speech and wanted me to delete the video. I didn't, so they suspended me for a while. But they had to bring me back. But see, the reality of the situation is this. We don't need to be fighting each other. It don't make no difference whether you Gen Z or you are baby boomers or you are in Africa or you're in America or Brazil, which has the second largest black population in the world. United States has the third largest black population in the world. And we should be working together, because the reality of the situation is that racism is all over the world. And now, let me explain something to you. Now, a lot of you Gen Zs ask the question, why do everybody hate us? The first movie ever made was made in 1914. The name of the movie was Birth of a Nation. And that was the first movie that people ever seen. So imagine the shock when they saw this movie and they saw black people being depicted as lazy, thieves, guilty of sexual attacks, and all these other things. Imagine you've never seen a movie before in your life. They took these movies to places that didn't even have a radio. And they had white men in blackface pretending to be us. And those people who watched that movie, they did not know that those men were in blackface. And this movie went all over the world. This movie went to third world countries that did not have electricity. And that's why we are depicted in this way. And they keep it, and even up to nowadays, when we're in movies, we're never depicted as the doctors, lawyers, and things like that. Gangsters, thugs. That's what we are depicted as. And until we make movies to change that, or do something to change the narrative, then we will continually be hated. But the reality of the situation is this. First off, understand this. There is no such thing as racism. It was classism. It is classism. Classism is the rich against the poor, or the have against the have-nots. The haves against the have-nots. And as we try to struggle to go forward to increase our wealth, the haves to do everything they can to keep us down. And one way to keep us down is to divide us so that we fight each other. That was the purpose of racism. And that wasn't working. So they created what? Feminism. So they divided families. And now you have families fighting each other. You have broke up the families. Divorce is on the increase. Then you got this sprinkle or sparkle lady, whatever she is, telling black women to take advantage of black men that love them and want to provide and protect. And then, and according to her, find a black man that wants to provide and protect, and then take advantage of him. That's what feminism has come down to. When I came up, we didn't, and then they stole our music. Nowadays, you have women calling themselves bitches and whores. You have during the baby boomer era, churches is where we met to discuss strategies to deal with racism. Now you got women out there twerking in church, and they're just prosperity church. You got people like T.J. Jakes, or whatever his name is. They say he lost 40% of his congregation. If this was back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, he'd have lost his entire congregation, and he'd have been in some serious trouble. And another thing, Deuteronomy 22 verse 5, it says that homosexuality is an abomination. Deuteronomy 22 verse 5 says that homosexuality is an abomination. But then you have Gen Zs getting online and saying that the Bible doesn't speak against homosexuality. Did you read the Bible? Are you researching anything that this United States government is telling you? Have you researched anything that this government is telling you? Because it is this government that created slavery, lied and said that we were 3/5 humans, and is trying to force homosexuality in schools on 8-year-old kids. They're trying to, instead of teaching 8-year-old kids history, they're trying to teach them sexual conduct. They're trying to, and even now, they have men on TV, black men on TV, that are guilty of crimes, that were affiliated with P. Diddy or whatever his name is, that were affiliated with him, that were setting young men up to be molested. And we have these people on TV. Now, is it true that Will Smith mistreated his son? Has he been arrested? Is he a role model that should be on TV? Allegedly. Allegedly. Is he a role model that should be on TV? Should he be on TV before this is cleared up? But if you ignore it and let it go, then you're saying that what, it's okay. I'm seeing all kind of people black men on TV that's guilty of sexual misconduct. And these are the people that I'm gonna say this. Teach your kids that they have to be their own heroes. You have to be your own hero. You have to do the best you can, be the best you can, and not look for heroes. Because there was a point in time in my life where Muhammad Ali was my hero. But then he went to Africa to fight George Foreman, and he wasn't with he was not with the woman who stuck with him through thick and thin. Caught me off guard. And I said to myself, no, that's wrong. It's very disrespectful. And although I admired his stand on the against the draft, but I lost respect for him as a hero. But then Booker T. Washington, I've read the books, read up, studied on him, and that is my hero and the person that I aspire to be, or to be like. And these Gen Zs, do you even know who? Ask my granddaughter, straight A student. I asked her, do you know who Booker T. Washington is? She said no. So, and I say this to say, Gen Z, before you start putting down baby boomers and talking about you are not like the baby boomers who gave you civil rights, voting rights, defeated Jim Crow laws, before you put us down, read and find out what we accomplished that allowed you to be in the position that you're in. With that, like and subscribe. Stay tuned in for further updates. And like I said, I don't post every day. I post when Yahweh has something important for me to say, then I post. I'm not here for profit. And I'll say one other thing. Read everything that is happening today, I prophesied 2 years ago. And everything that I said would happen is happening now. And you can go back through my post and you can read it. And then I also told you what you can do to protect yourself when certain situations come up. With that, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for further updates. And I'm going to be posting probably the next 3 or 4 days. I'm going to be putting up new videos. With that, have a nice day.